I'm going to preview the number 20 Baylor versus number 10 SMU women's volleyball game, which will be played in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, as in the campus of LSU, as a neutral site game on August 30th at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. There will be definitely live stats. I don't know about TV like ESPN Plus because it doesn't show on the Baylor side of things or even SMU side of things. And I'm pre-recording this ahead of time, and I'm going to just say this up front. SMU does play the night before against LSU at LSU at 7 p.m. Central Time on SEC Network Plus. So Baylor would have the rest advantage, and I get that Baylor has a lot of newness to their roster this year. I mean, 7 new players out of 17, but SMU has a lot more. They have 13 transfers / freshmen out of, okay, that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17 players. Yeah, the majority of their roster is brand new. And honestly, who knows what's going to happen against LSU for SMU, whether or not they're coming off of a loss or a win. Same thing goes for Baylor. And obviously, Baylor played a practice game against preseason number 9 Texas A&M at Texas A&M, while SMU is playing number 25 TCU at home. So both these teams will be battle tested against top 25 opponents. This is besides practice games, a practice game against themselves. I mean, Baylor, like green versus gold and red versus blue for SMU. And I'm going to just go over like the returning players first and then add in transfers as needed. And the first one is Casey Badenhorst, number 5, a 6'1" setter that is a senior. No kills on 1 attempt, 16 assists, 19 service aces, 28 service errors, 32 digs. That's it. Now the next player, and I'm going to admit there's not a lot of returners on this list for SMU that I'm really going to go over. Really, it's Natalia Newsom, number 12. A 5'11" middle blocker that is a sophomore. She only played 35 sets last year. Gotta keep that in mind on the stats. 44 kills on 82 attempts with 10 attacking errors, 1 assist, 2 digs, 21 blocks, 4 solo, 4 blocking errors. And obviously the next player would be Gentry Lamin Rand, Lamirand. I apologize if I butchered that. 5'11" outside here. That is a senior. 32 sets played last year. Gotta keep that in mind. 28 kills on 75 attempts with 12 attacking errors, 2 assists, 1 service ace, 7 service errors, 7 receiving errors, 39 digs, 3 blocks, 0 solo, and 2 blocking errors. So from there, it's a lot of new. Everybody else, I think, is gone because Jamison Wheeler is not on the roster. It kind of goes same thing for those last 3 players statistically that are returners. Now, I am going to go over the transfers that are notable. I'm not including freshmen. Y'all could check out the freshmen and all this, and I don't think they're going to play, especially when compared to these transfers that they got. And the first one is Malaya Jones, a 6-foot outside hitter. She actually transferred in from Colorado State, and she's a grad student. The next one really is a name that you would recognize, Baylor fans. Avery Carlson, 5'11" setter, that is a senior. If you remember, she was at Baylor for 2 years. Then last year she went to Texas. And obviously she changed her mind to go to SMU for her last year of eligibility. So that's kind of interesting. There's obviously like Madison Shear, 6'1" senior. That number 15, that is a transfer from Auburn. It is Jordan Schilling, number 14, defensive specialist, Barrow, from High Point, 5'11" inches tall. That's a senior. And 2 transfers from USC, respectively, are like Favor Anuwanwu, WU. So to spell it again, Anyanwu. 6'2" mid blocker. That's a sophomore. And the last one is Jaden Livings, 6'1" outside hitter / opposite. That's a sophomore from USC. If you thought Baylor had a lot of new players, SMU has more. So who knows what's going to happen here. And I'm really going to call this a toss-up game, because it's a neutral site game after all, and it's a top 20 showdown. SMU's dealing with a lot of new. Baylor is too. But Baylor's not dealing with as much new in terms of continuity. And if you remember, last year Baylor did play SMU and they did lose 3-0 at home. But this is a different SMU team this year compared to last year. And I know kind of the same thing goes for Baylor. But my point is, that SMU team that was a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, they lost in the round of 32 to Missouri, a 7 seed. So my point is, it's totally different now. Obviously, whatever you did right the game before, you need to bring it to this game and correct what you did wrong last game to this one. The same thing goes for those practices and the practice game. And you got to recover well from that first match. And I'm sure they could be watching this match, the game the day before they play SMU. They might be watching. For all we know, they could. You can't deny it. And another thing is, you got to try to get them out of rhythm offensively and serve tough. Make them out of system. Obviously, you need to try to see to read their tendencies. Dig every ball, block nearly every time. You don't want to have like net violations or foot faults or rotation violation. I mean, that's the thing. You don't want to give up 3 points like that. Oh no. You got to receive well. You got to dig every ball and try to win as many long rallies as you can. Because sometimes that does make a difference in the match. And obviously you need to make adjustments on the fly, regardless, throughout the match. And I'm not just talking about set 1 to set 2, set 2 to set 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5 potentially. I'm talking about during those sets. And you got to serve well and reduce the service errors, but you want to have some service aces as well. And obviously you want to limit your attacking errors and ball handling errors too at times. So, and you got to have have some variety on offense. That way you're not so predictable. So, and obviously for those returning players from Baylor, use last year's match against SMU at home as motivation going into this one. I'm just saying, you got swept at home, and even the year before you lost to them. So that is motivation right there as well. And not only that, for all the players that were on the same team as Avery Carlson was, you got to be motivated to beat your former teammate. You couldn't do that last year against Texas at home. Now this is a prime opportunity. SMU is doing what a lot of new. And Baylor, I know, is dealing with some new, but not as much as SMU when you look at the rosters and compare and contrast. And I know SMU actually has a player on the roster that didn't even play last year. And she's listed as a sophomore, and I didn't even mention her. So, yeah. And obviously, you can like variety on offense, like I said, whether it's like a back row attack or outside row attack or opposite or middle blocker or even a setter going in for a kill at times just to throw out the defense off. So obviously you need your key players to step up, and you want to slow down the best players as much as possible and make them inefficient offensively. Because if you do that, you're giving yourself a chance. And really, it's great that this game is not at SMU. Granted, I wish it was at Baylor, I know. But if you couldn't get that at home, it's better to be in a neutral site. So there's no need to go further exaggerate this. And I'm sure Ron McGuire wants to beat his former assistant again, because it's been a minute since he's defeated the SMU head coach. Yeah, actually Sam Erger, yeah, she was a Baylor assistant for a while. And he hasn't beaten her in the last few years, at least. So, yeah, I'm sure he wants this match back. So, anyways, if you like this content, hit the like, subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 800 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So, my mind, of course, like a video, comment video really helps YouTube algorithm. So, more people see us sharing the video does help as well. So, more people can watch it. And for watching, and subscribe, hit subscribe button, ring the notification bell as well. And obviously, you need to stay composed. And don't be intimidated by the other team. And you got to make it, like, if you're down, you got to climb back out. If you have a lead, you got to protect it. And finish, have a strong start each set as much as you can. And finish strong, and even in between. You got to be solid as well. If it's like nip and tuck, like back and forth, try to find a way to get a run going. And obviously, there's timeouts that you could use as well. So, and I get there might be a questionable calls at times, but you got to be the mentally tougher team. This is your second match in a row here, and this is against a better opponent than South Alabama. No offense to them, but SMU is a top 10 team. South Alabama is not even receiving votes, so we'll have to wait and see what happens.